All right, I'd like to show you a quick clip from the 2005 reunion.
Talking about these young people, Bob Linger, where are you sitting? Back there. And also Phil Metlin over there. This is Ryan French, who is 15, has his own news website that he runs out of North Tampa. And Phil, I wish, and Bob, get this kid's card on the way out. He should be a future employee. He's got the right stuff. And he's here tonight to observe this. So Ryan, lots of luck to you. Thank you. Okay.
So that kid right there is that kid right there. Yeah. So that's Ryan French. Now, he slipped through our fingers and he ended up at ABC Action News for a few years. But as of January 3rd, 2022, Ryan is WTVT's newest hire. Nice. Yeah. Mike Crook, take it away.
Hi, I'm down here now. Oh, there I go. Hey there, Ryan has been our technical director for this whole procedure. And I got to tell you, I'm very impressed with his professionalism in the short, 17 years since he appeared on that clip back then. And somehow he slipped through our fingers, and I'm so glad he's our newest employee. But I think he could be a long-timer. He could be one of those guys that's standing up in a few years. So, sitting next to him, that's Chelsea Guest. That's Ryan's fiance. Chelsea, I wanted to welcome you to the WTVT family too.
Thank you.
And because it's the spouses and the families that really support the work that WTVT does, because sometimes, Ryan's going to be in the thick of it, covering a hurricane or whatever, and he will need your support. So just want to let you know, we couldn't do it without, the families and spouses and all that. So welcome to you too.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, good job. Now, the history of WTVT is well covered at big13.com, but we've got some of the people who were there, lived it, and I'd like to invite them to the podium. This first gentleman, I was most excited to meet him today, because all I ever heard from Joel McGee is how great Ray Blush was. Belcher, look at this tape of Ray Blush. You write a video like that, Belcher, you'll be okay. Ray Blush, now that's a man who knows how to write a video, Belcher. Ray Blush this and Ray Blush that. And damn it, Joel was right. Ray Blush came to Big 13 from WFLA as a reporter and became our go-to guy. Reporting, anchoring, producing Project 13, and hosting the quiz program High Q. I want to host a game show, Ray. Will you talk to current management, please? Ray became news director at the dawn of the satellite era. Let's not forget Ray was the MC of the 50th employee reunion. I'm sure did a better job than I'm doing today, especially according to Jewel. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ray Blush. And joining Ray Blush up here is a joining Ray up here is the guy who came to Big 13 in 1984. Reporter, anchor, producer. Listen, I will tell you right now, from the bottom of my heart, the best storyteller in Tampa Bay in 2022. He's the best storyteller in Tampa Bay, and one of the last we have left. God bless him. Ladies and gentlemen, Lloyd Sowers.
Well, thank you, Charlie. Hope you're having a good day. Well, the first 25 years of our station married some pretty explosive growth, not only in Tampa, but in the entire Tampa Bay area. Starting April 1st, 1955, the station was a roaring success back then, as it has been ever since. Walter Tyson owned the station back then, and he only had it for 1 year before he sold it for 3 times what he paid for it. The Oklahoma Publishing Company bought it in 1956. Involved a ton of money building the new building. It used to be a restaurant at the time, but built a new building, new studio, named the newscast then Pulse. Then 3 years later, 1959, We had a newly created mobile unit, which took Channel 13 viewers all over the state, including several NASA space missions. And that was also the time that WTVT created what we call today personalities, names that will probably live forever. Hugh Smith, Roy Leap, Salty Saul, Andy Hardy, Mary Ellen, Ernie Lee, who would end his morning breakfast beat at 7 a.m. by saying to his wife on air, "Put on the coffee pot, Jeannie, I'm coming home." Of course, Andy Hardy I mentioned, and Shock Armstrong. The viewers loved all those characters. 1966, there was an amazing change in television and in television news. Color. Went from black and white to color. Hugh Smith, who was news director, he teamed up with Andy Hardy and Roy Leap, and they became the place in the Tampa Bay area to get your news. CBS, which Channel 13 was on a roll then. Gunsmoke, 60 Minutes, Hawaii 5-0, Dallas, the Beverly Hillbillies, and of course, the CBS Evening News with the fellow with the name of Walter Cronkite. So from the 50s through the 70s, that's kind of the way things went. I retired in 1984 from Channel 13, so I have to call on Lloyd Sowers to carry on the story.
I'm going to pick it up here in the 80s for a second, but I just want to say a couple of things about three guys over here, Jewel and Dwayne and Mac. When I see young reporters do things they shouldn't do, the first thing that comes to my mind is they did not work with these three guys. All right? Those three guys taught me more than any journalism professor I ever had about the business that we're in right now. You know, news managers don't know what news photographers do for this business, particularly news photographers at Channel 13. They made the trains run on time, they made the product, they made the station. And that never should be forgotten. So all the photographers out there that I've worked with, all of you that I've worked with, thank you so much. People ask me about other reporters. I say, I don't know the reporters, I know the photographers. But when you're in a news car with somebody for 20 years, you get to be really good friends. And I just want to thank you again, you three guys, particularly for all you've done for me and what you taught me and how you brought me into this business, because you guys are really special, really important to me, and I want to thank you for that. The 80s were a decade of furious news competition in the Tampa Bay market. The Big 13 led the pack. Jim West was our news director. Jack Harris and Leslie Spencer anchored Pulse Plus to giant ratings in those days. Kelly Craig became the station's first female co-anchor, followed by Kelly Ring, who is retiring after 37 years. I just want to say what a pleasure it's been to work with you, and what a joy it's been, and thank you so much for being there for us all these years. The late 1980s brought a new building, new weather center, Sky Tower radar cropped up there. Into the 90s, we welcomed people like Frank Robertson and Denise White, Chip Carter, Paul Delgado, Cynthia Smoot. Our great friend Kathy Fountain had her own show in those days, Eye on Tampa Bay, and then the Kathy Fountain Show, which was great, loved it. And I want to say to my good friend Warren Ellie how much we miss you and how we wish you were here with us today. After 39 years, WTVT said a farewell to CBS and became Fox. Kelly, I remember Kelly saying, how's this going to be? And we didn't know at the time. It turned out it worked out pretty well for us, didn't it? It really did. But we were there for that change. Morning show with Ann Dwyer, Tom Curran, Bill Murphy. Very important move. John Wilson came over from Channel 10 and joined us in those days. That was a huge move and led to a lot of great things and a lot of great friends. It's a big day for us. The millennium saw the rise of the internet, where viewers were able to get their programming and news directly from the source. But no one provided better local coverage than Fox 13, and we maintained our lead. Fox 13, which had begun the internet use back in the mid-1990s. Walter Ellie started WTVT.com, and I remember that very well. Walter Ellie started our first website. I know, it's crazy, isn't it, how this family thing works? You can get Fox 13 news, sports, and weather through the internet. We had Gasparilla coverage, live streaming, high definition, smaller, high-powered units to take viewers live wherever. You know, I remember those days when we said, one of these days we're going to go live, just be able to plug into the wall. And here we are. We're going live with a backpack. It's been my honor to play a part in the growth of Channel 13 and WTVT. I want to thank everyone who came before us, who gave us that great legacy, so that when you go to Polk County, people say, I remember Salty Saul and Ernie Lee and Barefoot Brownie, and you get the story because you're from Big 13. It's that legacy that made our job a lot easier for all these years. The people who follow us are going to keep that legacy going as we move into the 21st century. What a ride it's been, a ride it's going to be. Thank you so much for sharing the journey with me, and it's great to see all of you guys today. Thank you.